On today's Toy Box Tuesday, we're going to take a look at a different figure this time around. This time around, we're going to take a look at the Rick and Morty Funko series Build-A-Figure Snowball Rick Sanchez figure. Welcome back. And yes, I know that was mouthful. But, yeah. Gonna look at some Rick and Morty merchandise this time around. Actually, I'm a huge fan of Rick and Morty, I should just say this. Love the series, and I happened to see these figures go on sale recently, and decided to pick me up a couple. Unfortunately, they only had Rick here, so I couldn't find the other figures in the Build-A-Figure series wave, so I figured why not get one of the titular characters and one of the main characters of the show, Rick Sanchez. So, yeah, pretty cool. So, as always with these Toy Box Tuesday videos, I'll just go through the packaging for you guys. So, as you can see, standard window box bubble packaging. You get a lot of cats on this packaging. Pretty interesting, but that's not, you know, unnormal and bizarre for this show, because if you've seen Rick and Morty, they always go on weird adventures. You also get a nice look at Rick there with his grandson Morty escaping one of the portals there. Pretty cool. And also with the window display, you get all the accessories that Rick comes with, as well with the figure itself, which is pretty cool also. And at the back, you get all the figures in the wave. So you get Rick, obviously. You get Morty. You get Mr. Meeseeks. You get Mr. Poopy Butthole. Bird Person. And finally, with all these, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 figures combined. You can build yourself a little snowball action figure in the mech suit. So pretty cool. Will I collect all the pieces? Well, we'll see about that, but they definitely look pretty cool. So probably in future Toy Box Tuesday videos, we might actually collect them all and build Snowball here. But for now, oh, and I also forgot Funko logo, along with a couple of cats, and of course the Adult Swim logo. So yeah, pretty cool. Again, I don't have all the other figures in the wave, but like I said, we might do them for future videos if I see them around. But today we're just going to take a look at Rick here. So, as always guys, I'm just going to pause this video, fade out, whatever. And as always, stay tuned. And here is Rick out of his packaging. And so far this figure looks pretty awesome, but as you know from all the other Toy Box Tuesdays videos I do, we're not actually going to look at the figure quite just yet. We're going to, of course, look at his mini accessories. So, main accessory here Rick has is, of course, Snowball's little mech arm. If you've seen the, I forget the episode's name, but if you've seen the Lawnmower Man episode, parodying episode, you would know all about this mech arm that Snowball carries in that episode. I won't spoil it, but it's a pretty fantastic episode that references that movie. And I must say, just zoom in quickly, the arm looks pretty cool, as I pointed out. See nice little paint schemes. Funko did a very nice job to making this piece right here pretty accurate to the show. Looks pretty cool. Then the next thing that Rick also comes with is a tiny little flask, which is also neat. Again, it's nothing too special since it's just a, you know, plain old flask. Oop. And did I lose it? No, I didn't. Just a plain old gray flask. So yeah, pretty cool. There, got it. There's some dirt on there, but pretty cool. Nothing too fancy, so he comes with that. And of course, any Rick merchandise toy or anything wouldn't be complete without the famous portal gun, which is pretty cool. Just gonna zoom in for you guys so that way you can see all the little details. Very nice. Very show accurate. Very show accurate paint schemes and detail. Very nice. It's kind of disappointing that this is kind of just a plain Jane green wash there. I would have liked if there was some clear plastic or something in it to make it look, you know, pretty even more better on this gun, but that's alright. I'm sure there's enough portal gun merchandise to make it even more show accurate that Funko puts out, but for what it is, it's actually pretty cool. Very nice. Get nice little rectangle shapes in the top and bottom there. So, whoop, dropped it again. But pretty cool, as you can see. Very, very cool. Also like how they put the brown little button there to break up the white a bit. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome indeed. Now with all these accessories out of the way, let's take a look at the actual Rick figure. And as I pointed out before, this guy is definitely fantastic. Just love the look of how Funko did on the sculpt here. It's very show accurate. Like he literally looks like the cartoon character leapt off the screen and into, you know, a plastic toy form. A little tongue-tied there, but pretty cool. I love the design, how Funko kind of simplified Rick here. Just very awesome. His lab coat is very rubbery, as you can see. It's a nice rubber detail there. I like that. I like how his rubber lab coat is rubber and not a straight plastic. I think it's removable if you wanted to, but the problem is, since the rest of his sleeve there is white, it kind of would look silly. But there's an option there for you too. Just in paint schemes, you know, standard. It's very much like the show, so just a standard, you know, plain Jane paint schemes. The head sculpt, I'll just zoom in for you guys, is absolutely phenomenal. I love the head sculpt on this guy. I also like his little, I like how Funko put in his famous drool there, sculpted it in. They didn't like put any, you know, stickers or paint anywhere. Just, you know, they sculpted it in, which looks awesome. It kind of has this dim-witted expression on his face with his eyeballs. The eyeballs are sculpted as well with his little unibrow there. Just looks awesome. I love the look on this Rick figure. Funko did an amazing job on the sculpt. His hair, it looks like to be a separate piece that they glued on. But that being said, the hair piece looks phenomenally well detailed as well. Very show accurate. They even included a bald spot, which, again, I don't know on the show if he has Rick has his bald spot or not, but the attention to detail on this figure is pretty awesome. I'm very impressed with how Funko did this guy, and just love the way he looks. Just an awesome looking figure. Now, with the impressiveness of the sculpt on this figure, you're probably wondering about his posability. Is he superposable? Is he not? Is he limited? Etc. As always, we'll just take a look at his articulation. His arms do have me worried, though. That's the one downside on this figure, because look how skinny his arms are. I'm afraid these might, over time, be a little fragile. Again, this will be just for a shelf piece anyway. I won't be, like, you know, playing with it, or, like, always constantly fussing with how it poses. But his joints, when I move them, feel a bit fragile, so that has me worried a bit, because it's definitely looks like a very delicate piece here, just the way I'm touching and moving his arms here. I'm just afraid of breaking a pin and socket joint inside his arms there, shoulder area, but they move pretty good. You can go up and down. You can, as I pointed out, you can go all the way around. Just be careful though, because it feels like his joints are very fragile as I'm carefully going around. You can also bend at the elbow, shoulder there too. So there you go. As you can see, I'm just doing it very delicately because of the fact that his joints do feel a bit on the fragile side. You can bend at the elbow. His hand does move a little bit, but ever so slightly. You can also bend at the elbow too there. So you can do that. Again, I'm afraid, with these joints, they just feel very delicate, so I'm just afraid of popping something off or breaking a joint here. So that's one downside on this figure. It's very, very over delicate, I think, that Funko made it. It just feels very lightweight, and his joints do feel a little delicate, so be careful with that. He does also bend at the waistline there. You can go in or out, so pretty cool. You can also bend at the knee, but unfortunately with his lab coat, it hinders that articulation area. Same with the other leg, he can bend at the knee. And he also has a slight swivel at the foot. Again, the thing that, this is just a pickiness aside, I think it would have been cool to include some ankle articulation up and down to have even more poses, but that's just me. That's just the Marvel Legends collector in me that would like that, but overall pretty cool. I like, he has pretty good articulation that way. And, well, it doesn't look like he can move his waist, but his waist is a solid piece. And also, I forgot to point out his head. He just goes side to side. Again, be careful, because it looks like his joints in the head is also delicate as well. As you can see how careful I'm moving it. So you can probably move it all the way around, but just on the safety side, there you go. Just be careful, because the joints do feel a little delicate. So yeah, just watch out for that in case you want to pose this figure. So now that we had a look at his articulation, I'm just going to show you how his accessories fit. And they fit pretty cool. Pretty good, I mean. Fit in nice and snug there with his portal gun. His portal gun, unfortunately, you have to finagle it a bit to get it at the right angle. Kind of holds it a little bit awkwardly, but that's okay. I mean, I could live with it. Could probably, if you want, this, as you can see, it's the way it's angled, it looks a little off, but that's alright. Looks better there, but the portal gun could have been a little better sculpted on the piece, so that way it matches the hand a little more, so it's a little more, looks a lot more slicker than just, you know, a little awkward if you're having to pose the arm up. It just looks a little awkward there, but having it pose here, it's fine. I have no issues with it. That's just a minor nitpick, though. And also, well, I suppose you could also fit it in this hand, so let's just see if he fits it. Rick's portal gun fits in the... actually, yeah, that looks good. He actually looks good with the portal gun in this hand. You can swap out which position you want on this figure, so in the end, it doesn't matter anyway. But he holds his portal gun pretty good, so I'm happy about that, because obviously if you're going to do Rick figure from Rick and Morty, you obviously want to make sure his portal gun fits well within his hands there, so that is pretty good by Funko, so that gets bonus points right there. And also his flask fits in somewhat good, not as good as a portal gun. Unfortunately, it fits in a little loose, so probably will have the tendencies of popping out, but overall his accessories do fit well. So I'm quite happy about that. So with that being said, what do I think of this Rick and Morty action figure? Or should I say Rick Sanchez figure? Overall, I really am impressed with this look of this figure and just generally how he looks and how he poses. I think Funko did a phenomenal job on this figure, on this piece in general, and I like the way he looks. Unfortunately, his articulation, while good, feels a little on the fragile side. So that's the one thing I worry about with this figure, is that a joint might pop off or something like that. The more I play with it, try to put different poses on Rick here. But if you don't play with it too much or try to finagle or make, you know, crazy poses like that, it wouldn't give you any issues. But for people like me that like to pose our figures in different, you know, dynamic poses, it kind of leaves a bit of a sour taste in that it's, we don't want to, it leaves a bit of a sour taste in that. So unfortunately, that will become kind of a worry where collectors there about his joints with his lack of, you know, design and stuff like that. I've seen how his joints are a little fragile on the fragile side. So dynamic posers probably will be disappointed by this figure. But overall, I think this is a phenomenal figure. Just unfortunately, his joints are a little fragile. So that's one of my main worries over time, if his joints might pop off or break or etc. So that being said, what would I rate this figure at overall scale on the 10 scale? And I would honestly have to give this figure an 8 out of 10. Again, as I pointed out, while he looks cool, unfortunately his joints seem a little fragile. I don't know if that's for all the figures, I hope not. But so far, this Rick is on a bit of the fragile side on posability, articulation side. So if you're looking for a Rick and Morty articulated figure, I would highly recommend picking this guy up. Just be cautious with the joints and try not to, you know, risk breaking them. So that is it for today's Toy Box Tuesday, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Today we took a look at Rick Sanchez from the Rick and Morty Funko line for the Snowball Build-A-Figure line. As always, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Click subscribe if you want to stay tuned for more Toy Box Tuesday video from me. Make sure you hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I post a new, well, anything geeky, whether it be toy reviews, movie reviews, whatever in between. I always try to do various things that are into geeky stuff, you know. So if you like that kind of stuff, just make sure you like this video and just comment down below if you want to see more Toy Box Tuesdays from me and any other kind of geeky videos in the future. So that is it for today's Toy Box Tuesdays, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, from Morgan Entertainment, stay entertained.